on this computer.
Okay.
This is Lament for Eyam by Cameron Adair. Fade in, title over, based on true events, title over, Eyam, England, November 1665, fade out, fade in, exterior Eyam, outskirts, day. Eyam is a small village that sits alone in northern England. The road to Eyam has heavy remnants of foot traffic from pack animals and people in the hard mud surrounded by snow. There are a few farmhouses on its outskirts with livestock grazing in the full wind. The full wind, maybe that is. Cut to exterior Eyam Centre, day. Near the centre of town is a small church and a stone well.
Know this, God will test you.
Thomas's voice is loud and firm as it echoes against the church walls. Cut to interior Eyam Church, day. Thomas Stanley is standing on the pulpit in a jam-packed church. He is an older, larger man in his late 60s. He stands straight and holds himself well with unblinking eyes. He's dressed in simple black robes of a rector. Each pew is full with more standing in the back, hanging on every word of his sermon.
God shall shake the very pillars of your faith. All hope will seem lost, and his light will be diminished, that despair will seep within. Do not waver. The only path forward is through. Whence there no answer, push through. Whence there no light, push through. Whence God's voice no longer comes, push through and seek it.
Thomas adjusts his stance. Apprehension seeps into him as he sees the years of wear on the podium where his Bible sits.
My test, it seems, has come, and I, by stepping down as your rector, have not abandoned you. 'Tis my time to be tested, and I shall try to walk with God. I will be among you, and retire to my home, but no longer shall I lead. After 18 years this church and town of Eyam, 'tis with great honour and pleasure to call each and every one here my neighbour. Alas, I go. By and by, now I come to embrace you one last time as your rector.
He steps down and walks with heavy burden through his rectory, shaking hands with the men and patting children on the head in bittersweet farewell. Elizabeth Hancock is in the crowd with her 6 children and husband. She is in her late 20s, dressed as a commoner with her dark hair up, and is eager to talk with Thomas. John Hancock is in his 30s, has slender form, dressed as a commoner. Their children's age start at 5 through to 11 years old. Thomas continues to say his goodbyes to the rectory as he and a small crowd all exit. Elizabeth navigates through the crowd but can't quite get a word or Thomas's attention. Her and her family all exit. Cut to exterior churchyard, day.
That's away.
I must have word with Thomas.
Come off it. The man said his piece.
Still, I must try.
What of the children? They need their mother.
Elizabeth sees Sissy watching and playing with them in the churchyard. Sissy, a woman in her late 40s, is dressed similar to Elizabeth. She looks over and waves to the Hancock parents.
Sissy has them.
John shakes his head in defeat. Elizabeth struggles through the crowd and makes it to Thomas.
Glory unto you! I shall miss seeing your faces.
Rector Stanley?
Aye, Rector, no more, Elizabeth. Thank you for all your joy you've given at service.
Thomas embraces the woman. Elizabeth stands idly by. The crowd thins, but it still lingers around Thomas.
Thomas?
Thomas shakes the hand of another man. John walks up to Elizabeth.
Yes?
Wife?
Elizabeth ignores John.
A word?
Yes. How can I serve you?
The children's needs, Elizabeth.
Bless you.
A word in private.
I'm sorry, dear, but perhaps later.
It is a grave matter.
Elizabeth, Thomas has spoken.
John places a hand on Elizabeth's elbow.
Thence the more serious the privacy. In time.
Till then.
Till then.
Elizabeth with John leave the steps of the church to the courtyard and gather the children. Elizabeth hugs Sissy and they walk out of the churchyard together down the dirt road. Cut to exterior near Hancock's house, day. The Hancocks walk down the road.
Was it necessary?
How could it not be?
The man should be left alone. Why so much ado over Church of England affairs?
I care for the man. He has served us well so many years.
Aye, his path leads elsewhere.
Lame excuse. Per lame reason.
Thence what have you do?
I will talk with him, convince him to conform and stay as our rector.
He's a Puritan. He'll not conform. You ask him to absolve to keep his station. It's not God's will.
What of Thomas's will? What of our will?
They turn into their small home off the street.
Enough. I'll not folly and argue a stump.
Mary Hancock comes up to Elizabeth. Oh, I forgot that one. For supper, Mama?
Yes, yes. Wait, Mary. I shall make it.
Cut to exterior Thomas Stanley's house day. Elizabeth and her children walk to Thomas's home, which sits alone on the outskirts of Eyam. She knocks on the door. Thomas opens and is dressed plainly.
Good day, dear. And you brought the clan. How delightful.
Yes, yes, they wanted to see you as well.
Outstanding. Come in all.
They enter. Interior Thomas Stanley's house day. It's a simple one-bedroom house that is extremely neat and organised.
Come now, child, what matter that is so grave?
Well, you see...
Elizabeth searches for her words.
You see, well, we've been talking.
We?
Yes, the town.
The whole town?
Yes, well, the rectory. We want you to stay.
I am, child.
No, well, yes, of course, but we want you to stay as our rector.
Elizabeth, surely someone did put you out. Methought you were confessing a sin.
Thomas chuckles.
No. No, Thomas, please, we need you. Your rectory need not a stranger whence we have seasoned practitioner.
I've told you all this Sunday. God's path sends me away. I shall not conform to the Church of England. 'Tis a shame Parliament has forced my hand. Alas, I cannot relinquish Puritanism.
Surely you thought that conforming may be God's will?
Of course.
Thence why not?
Within his kingdom, only one truly knows God's will. I greatly fear the man whom sell his soul and conform to continue comfortably as your rector. A man must stand by his principles or have no principles to which to stand on. God's light prevails, child. Worry not.
But your rectory, what of them? What of us? Who will lead us into God's light?
Aye, we've not met Rector Mompesson, nor heard a word of his sermon. But 'tis not Christian charity to invite a neighbour to your table.
Yes, but not the table, the rectory, and not invited, but forced upon. Lame excuse per lame reason.
Much the spirit in you. God will surely use it well.
Is there no recourse in your deliverance?
My dear Elizabeth, I will miss seeing your lovely face every Sunday morn.
You will not have to. I beg, please stay.
I cannot.
'Tis my hope this be God's will, not actions bred from fear.
As is mine, child.
She stands.
Good day, Thomas.
A lovely visit indeed.
Wish you well.
Cut to exterior road to Eyam day. Family of four travels to Eyam. William Mompesson is a young father of two boys, walks with his wife, Catherine Mompesson. They are both in their late 20s. An old man sits beside the road taking a rest.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
This the road to Eyam?
Aye, it is that.
God bless.
The Mompesson family arrives in Eyam. William waves to many of the villagers, but few wave back, none come to greet him. Interior Mompesson house day. There they settle in their house that is already furnished. Interior Eyam Church Day. William visits the church, touching each pew as he walks to the pulpit. Once there, he stands and faces the empty church. He holds out his arms in excitement. Fade out, fade to. Interior Eyam Church Day. William stands on the pulpit and looks out to his new rectory. There's less than 10 that sit in the near empty church. He gives a small, painful smile.
Good day. I know it may be oftener that not that the winds of change cometh. 'Tis not God's wind, 'tis not change that God hath made for us. I seek only your love in time.
He looks up and sees someone sneaking out the front door.
There'll be times ahead, may be long.
He opens his Bible to a marked page.
First, a passage.
Cut to Interior Tailor's House Day. A tailor opens a parcel of fabrics. It's stamped with a postmark from London. He touches the fabrics to his face. So cold, so damp. He brings over a wood rack and drapes the freshly opened fabrics onto it next to the fire. He continues to organize and work. Fierce, ominous music plays whilst focused on the drying fabrics on the rack. Fade out, fade in. Exterior outside Tailor's House Day. Thomas walks in deep snow and manages slowly up to the house. He's wearing an overcoat and gloves. A rat scurries along the wall of the house. Thomas doesn't notice. Before he knocks on the door opens and it's the tailor's assistant and quickly helps Thomas inside. Interior Tailor's House Day.
Good day.
Yes, come in from the cold. The fabrics have been moved. Thomas takes off his overcoat and gloves. The assistant helps him. He warms his hands next to the fire.
Where does he lie?
The assistant points to a door. His room, Rector.
Rector no more, boy.
Tailor's room. Thomas enters into a dark, small room. The tailor is on the bed and doesn't respond to him. Thomas picks up a candle and brings it to his face. The tailor has laboured breathing and covered in sweat. Thomas looks over his ashen skin and finds nothing. He feels his forehead and mutters disapprovingly. Thomas sees irritated skin around his neck and looks closer. There are buboes, raised, irritated skin, red and black on the tailor's neck.
My God.
Thomas rejoins the assistant in the common room.
How long is he in this state?
2 days. He not wake or eat. He cries out in pain betime.
How many live here?
3, including me, sir.
I must go.
What is it, Mr. Stanley? What can I do? Thomas hurriedly puts on his overcoat and gloves.
Give comfort and pray, child.
Thomas exits.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you for your lovely Derbyshire accents. Now, as somebody who was born in Derby, if I put on my Derby accent, which I am now doing, you will hear that there's no lovely. Lovely is lovely. And the ings are particularly strong in Derbyshire. So it's doing, going. You have to really, okay, guys?
I didn't even attempt it.
Thank you. Okay.
Very welcome. Welcome.
Welcome. Aye.
Aye. Well, no, it's not I, because it's not Yorkshire, you see. So
Well, that's where
Nearest I
moved
could.
from.
I've never been there, so.
Well, that's
Alright.
where me and Elizabeth moved from, Yorkshire, and we come down.
you were
Yeah.
very good. I thought, John, you'd got that. You'd almost cracked it, actually.
Well, I can do a really good Yorkshire accent. But Derby.
I know. Derby's a funny
Never
accent.
Never tried.
Now you think I've got to get out of my Derby accent.
Well, I know they have a really long G.
Yes, a very
Are they,
long.
are they near Birmingham?
No,
It's on the level with Nottingham and
it's
Manchester.
kind of-
Oh,
They're
okay.
not-
kind of-
I don't know geography at all.
it's if you put Buxton there and Sheffield there.
No idea where Buxton is.
Ian-
That
Oh,
means
Buxton
nothing to
is
me.
northwest
Not helping.
of Derbyshire, closer
Right.
to
You know
Manchester.
where Morecambe is?
Nope.
Blackpool.
Never mind. Right, let's get on.
You know where Grimsby is?
Yeah, I was filming there like a
Okay.
couple of months ago.
Right,
So
well,
yeah.
you know Grimsby, if you draw a line straight across, it's about there.
Okay.
I went there on the train, not on a map. So
Oh.
I'm going to talk about
I'm a foreigner and I know your country.
I'm going to talk about the
it's all online now.
the formatting, the fade in and the fade out.
Yeah, annoying.
Yeah, fade out, and fade into what?
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure some of those should be dissolves.
maybe.
Yes.
In fact, you don't need the cut tos ever. The only time you ever use cut to is if it's like a real, oh my God, smash cut to.
Like a jump cut, yeah.
That kind of thing. I get what he's doing and I understand that, you know, that fade out, fade in, but it's a kind of a dissolve. It's also too much direction. That's tipped over the line of instruction into the line of, nah, forget it. You don't need that.
Yeah, that's what you
Also,
think
the
would be
fade in needs to be on the left. I've got a feeling, and I may be wrong, that this was Celts, which is an app that is a script writing app. It looks like it's a Celts. I may be wrong, but Celts does not format correctly.
That rings a bell. Is that with green stuff all over it? The application. I remember getting one years ago and it was shite. It was called that, but excuse my language. Sorry.
The only other thing, the major thing that I noticed was it's got American spelling in it. And for something that is so obviously set in the center of a historical thing in England, it needs to be English spelling. I'm sorry, you might be an American writing about this, but it feels like it needs to be an English spelling.
Yeah.
And similarly, if I was writing a script based in the States, I would give it American spelling.
We use the colloquialisms, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm not going to say anymore. I'm going to let you guys go for it. Stewart.
I loved it to pieces. Absolutely loved it, period.
Okay, I'll let John go first.
I was going to say, Stuart's now changed his name to John.
John, go for it.
I didn't hear you say Stewart, otherwise.
Carry on. The floor's yours.
Yes, I absolutely loved it. Period, drama, stroke, script, my thing. Yeah, I throw myself in 100%. Very, very, very intrigued to see where he's going to go with this because I know the history of the place. So yeah, I definitely want to see more of this. Definitely.
Cool. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you, John. Stewart.
So I thought that when sorry, couldn't resist it. Sorry.
Catherine, over to you. Okay, right, I'm gonna jump in quick. Ditto, really. I really loved the atmosphere it was creating and the characters. You instantly wanted to know more. I thought it did a great job for making actors interested in it. I read it first and thought, oh, this is great stuff. And you can see how you could develop characters hugely with this kind of stuff. So that was great. I also quite like the dynamics between the characters and wanting him to stay and all this. The tension between him having to leave or wanting to leave and saying it was God's will and the locals wanting him to stay. So that was nicely done, I thought. Yeah, really got a sense of where it was at the time and what was going on. So, yeah.
Thank you. Erin.
I would just like to say Catherine was wonderful in this.
Catherine's wonderful in everything. So are you.
Don't stop. Carry on. No, carry on about me.
I was expecting the whole we're not letting Stewart present, and then he just let in.
Sorry.
Gosh, you're literally listening to me.
Okay. Don't know what.
Sorry, I missed that.
Never mind. Carry on. Erin.
I really liked it too. One of the first plays I read when I was younger was The Crucible, and I know this takes place in a completely different country, but the 1600s, I know it's different like years, but I think that some of the stuff too is very interesting, even though it's like 1665. Some of it's so still relevant to stuff happening in the world today, which is really fascinating. But I liked it a lot. I don't know. I can't, I want to see more of it. I think it's very well written.
Thank you. Catherine.
Hello. Yeah, agreeing with everybody so far. I am pretty good. Joking, I'm joking. No. With regards to everything else everyone said, I do agree. I found it very easy to follow. The visuals were good. Again, be careful with US and UK English, depending on where the piece is set, not where the writer is set. But the dialogue is very good. I liked to, yeah, I want to see what happens. I like where it's going. The visuals are brilliant. The dialogue's good. A couple of things I was a bit like about the dressed as. So is that made me think, oh, who are they? Are they pretending to be somebody that is like, oh, what's going on here? I don't know if that was just the way they typed it, or is that supposed to be a leading? They're dressed as this person now, but they're actually a super agent from time traveling, blah blah blah, or something. But yes, I don't know if that was on purpose or I just picked up by accident. But maybe word it differently if it's not supposed to be a carrot on a stick. But yeah, other than that, that's good. I'm afraid I think when the dialogue, I may have been playing her slightly wrong, because halfway through I decided she's probably a lot more kind of, she came across more religious reserved type rather than how I was playing her, but I didn't know that before, so this is a cold read. But other than that, I thought it was really good, and I want to see what happens next.
I worried slightly only on page 3. I agree with everything everybody has said. On page 3, there is one line: Thomas embraces the woman. This is a woman who's kind. I wondered at that. Yeah. Would a country rector at that time have embraced a woman? I don't think he would have.
Definitely not.
I think you observe the distance quite clearly, you know. Especially
as she's a married woman.
She's a married woman, exactly. And he's also a Catholic priest. Yeah. He's not just a rector, he's a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's got such a childish mind though. Every time someone says rector, I think rectum, and I'm like, visual out my head. I must leave my rectum. Rector. But your rectum needs you. Come on.
Interestingly, the word rector is quite a Church of England thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to a Catholic thing. So if he's supposed to be the outgoing Catholic priest,
not in my head.
He's meant to be father or the priest.
Father, yeah.
Father,
usually. Rector. Rector in the Church of England.
He's Puritan, because it says it in it. He's a Puritan.
No, we're saying we're used to other things. That's why it gives us different visuals.
I'm just saying, but as a Puritan, he would be referred to as minister.
Isn't the Puritan the Montpesson chappie coming in?
No, he's Church of England.
Oh, okay. So he's a Puritan. He's not.
Yeah, so he would be referred to.
Okay,
as
I've got that wrong
minister.
then. Excuse me, I've got that all wrong.
Okay. So it shouldn't have been rector at all then.
No.
Oh, okay.
They were called ministers because literally they ministered to the soul.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Forget about the Catholic bit.
Okay, so
I still think he would have had
Puritans
embracing the woman.
Sorry, but Puritans were still Catholic.
True.
I mean, people did embrace. They've always embraced, but yes, certain society people types wouldn't have done. But but not. It depends on the individual, to be fair.
Not in the Puritan religion, they wouldn't have done.
No,
not at all.
In England, come on, we're reserved.
Yeah, it's.
He may have like touched her arm or.
Well, he would have shaken her hand or something.
Yes, like that.
Yes. What if they're related? They might be related.
Measure of.
Well, not.
It just says to another woman. It says.
I mean, not the way Stewart played him. He was obviously right. He was not only on the other bus. He was bloody driving it.
Okay. There was one other thing I wanted to say. I can't remember. Oh, that was it. The guy dying in the bed with the plague at the end. The tailor happens too late. I would have liked to have seen that concurrent.
I don't know. I quite liked it at the end.
No, I was thinking if that was concurrent with the priest in the church, if that is happening,
Yeah.
No, it feels like what they've done is set the story up and then introduce the plague. What would be nice is if you start to set that story up, but those clothes have already arrived. That guy's falling ill, and then they go to see him and he's dying, you know, so it's just a little thing.
Historically, it took 3 days for the tailor to die from the package arriving. That was it. It hit him that hard and that quick. Within 3 days, everybody in that house was dead.
Yeah, it was a horrible thing.
Well,
so
on the plus side, about 60% of the population, of Eyam were immune to the bubonic plague.
This is true.
Still are today.
Yes, there are people who still live there from, yeah, exactly. So any
silver linings to everything.
Fifi,
just
any comments?
Were you going to say something, Stewart?
I was just picking up on something Angela said there about seeing other things earlier. It kind of, after you said that, I was thinking, actually, could you have, you know, it's kind of this village that's been lovely and all working really well, and then these various things are kicking off that is going to change everything. And it's like the plague bit, but also the rector going, or the minister going, and you could see different parts of the village starting to crumble. Do you see what I mean?
Starting to implode,
so that's why I quite liked it. It's like they think that's they've really actually got it up the shit's creek now, because it's not just about the minister going, but
it's quite interesting to watch for an audience. Like, oh my god, things are all kicking off here.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, you've got Elizabeth's panic, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's her panic. Oh my god, the rector's going.
Yeah.
Little does she know what's about to hit them.
Exactly.
Dun dun dun. Yes, that's what I quite liked. I quite liked it.
What did you think?
I love how you're making me actually be a part rather than a spectator.
Well, you are listening. You get a sense of what's happening. You know.
I do, and it's very exciting, and there's so much to do. But then on the other hand, I felt that I don't know. I felt that there could have been more, and this is why I was being quiet. As you know me, Angela, you're like, I will literally tell everyone everything, and then suddenly here, within this play, I was having to think, because it's a different set of dynamics amongst the characters, and so. Yeah.
Did you get a sense of what was happening, the story? Did that come over?
Within the story, like, from what I understood and what I got was this sense of confusion, firstly, then this sense of urgency, and this sense of needing to connect and communicate.
Okay.
And within that, I felt that the characters weren't really connecting with each other. And so it kind of left people, or me, lost as to who I would ideally be like, that's who I want to root for.
Oh, I see what you mean, yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes. So at the moment, what you're saying is that it's like at the moment, there isn't anybody specifically that you want to root for. So nobody comes across strongly enough.
No, and that was it, is that the characters are the characters are interesting. Oh God, I feel like a dick.
No, carry on.
Don't be silly, go on.
It's important.
The characters are interesting, but not developed enough for me to attach myself and want a particular one to do well, or to achieve, or to be. And so it's almost like I'm like, this is what's happening, and I'm watching.
Yeah, it's maybe not far enough along on its journey.
Yeah, it's only the first 10 pages.
Yeah,
no,
difficult.
I'm not attached. I'm not in, like, I could be like, that's nice, but not, oh my God, I want to know more.
Yeah. Okay, cool. John, you were raising your hand very politely.
I thought I'd do it politely this time.
Please don't pay attention to me. I have no idea.
No, it's all right. It's wonderful to see you, Fifi, anyway. The one thing I did pull from this that I didn't mention before is Catherine's character's fear for her mortal soul. You know, because the rector stroke minister is leaving, and they're a Puritan religion, she's terrified for her mortal soul.
That's a good point, actually.
Because religion was everything in the 17th century. Literally everything.
Yeah.
And to suddenly find that the man you could tell absolutely anything to, who's going to get you into heaven, is going.
I wonder then if that means that wasn't sort of telegraphed enough in her dialogue, her fear, because you might get that with you know, Catherine, if she was playing it for real, you know, you were seeing it, you might definitely see your fear and all of that come out, but
well, it came out in the script.
But it didn't really come out in the script.
I thought it did.
You did?
I did.
On
her insistence on seeing the rector.
Yeah.
You know, I need to see you. She's pushing everybody to one side. I need to see you. And then to actually go to his house and take the children there, because obviously John's out working.
Yeah.
So she's taken the children and everything. And she's like, you know, you can't leave. She's terrified for her mortal soul.
But if that's the case, then I think that needs to be said, or something needs to be said, because not everybody in the modern world is going to get that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I might just be reading between
it's
the lines.
It's a completely different world we're talking about.
Oh,
so sometimes you have to be obvious and say, well, what will I do? You know, aren't you worried about my soul? You know, that kind of...
It ties in, as you said at the beginning, with the gunpowder plot, because Guy Fawkes and all the people who were with him, Gately and all that lot, they were all Puritans.
Yeah.
They were literally trying to blow up the House of Parliament because they believed that they were destroying religion in the country.
I'm going to join in and jump in at this point, John, on the basis that you know your history. You know the history of Britain, Great Britain, Scotland, Ireland, the gunpowder plot. You understand the history and you are clearly passionate about it.
Well, I am very passionate about history, yes.
Yeah.
Because you can't, I firmly believe you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've come from.
And this is where I think we can connect on another level outside of this.
Right.
But in terms of me being an outsider, coming in to watch the wonderful, amazing work that you guys have done this evening, I am not a historian. I don't pay attention. I do not know the nuances of history. I couldn't know them because that's not my passion. That's your passion. And that's where I want to learn from you later on about that. But as a creative endeavor, in terms of what we were shown this evening and today, it was amazing, it was impressive. But in terms of what you then take home, and I think this is where a number of I'm not going to be like, yeah, so-and-so said this, because this is my interpretation. Yeah. But in terms of my interpretation of it, I could not have given a fuck about the historical context.
Right.
Because that's not relevant to me. But also, before we go down that line, it's not that I don't care. It's that in terms of this production, it's you, we are honored to have you having that context, but as a watcher, as a person within the audience, we're not going to have that context.
Yeah.
And so then as the actor, as the person presenting the story, it's how do you get that context to others? And so I'm not downplaying anything. I'm thinking like, you have such an important part to play because you understand the history. But as the audience, I just want to know the story.
Yeah.
And